Okay, when you're ready, you can begin.
Alright, hey there everyone, my name is DemonicRobots and welcome to Control. This is a third-person action-adventure game made by the guys who did Alan Wake, Max Payne, and a bunch of others. I'm joined by my commentator, Ashley. He's going to be helping me out here with this category, and I think we're just going to jump right into it. So, time is going to start when we skip this very first cutscene here. So, I'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Alright, welcome to Control.
Nice outfit, by the way.
Yes, this was, I originally wanted to have a costume incentive, however, this is the first run of the marathon, so there aren't going to be many donations for it, so I just grabbed whichever one my commentator asked for. So, if you haven't heard of this game, it is a third-person shooter by Remedy. It's basically kind of like SCP the game, if you know anything about that lore, but essentially, we are playing as Jessie here, who is searching for her missing brother, and she tracks him down to the Federal Bureau of Control, which is a organization that holds paranormal entities and things along those lines.
Government building TM.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of the main setting here, and it's the wonderful boomer tale of a janitor's assistant working their way up to the top through sheer hard work and definitely not alien nepotism, and becomes the Federal Bureau of Control's director. The way that this is chosen is by this weapon right here, so we're going to get teleported right here. This is an object of power, an OP, and oops. Basically, it's an object that has special parameters and properties that connects it to the astral plane and the board, which is what's talking to us right now. It's that super ominous black pyramid in the distance. This gun doesn't have any ammo. It is literally just on a recharging meter, which is kind of working like a stamina meter in Dark Souls, in that whenever it is fully depleted, it takes longer to recharge, so you kind of want to balance it out with your other attacks.
Yeah, so starting out here, a lot of the tech you're going to see him use in this opening fights is just, going for headshots, managing his ammo pool, using melee where necessary, and also spawn manipulation, so you can actually affect where the enemies spawn by looking certain ways. So we found ways where we can point the camera to make enemies spawn where we want them to.
Yeah, it's really important for this opening area, because otherwise enemies can get stuck behind walls and not want to come out to fight, which can get really annoying really quick. This is the biggest example of it, though. We're going to look back at this corner, and this should manipulate the spawns into my favor. Yep.
Oh, just like that. Another interesting thing to note with the gun is it does have a lot of inaccuracy or movement. So if you miss too many shots or shoot too quickly, it kind of just goes all over the place. Very nice.
Tried to invade me earlier.
And then coming in here, he's gonna shoot this guy in the back, so he doesn't waste too much time. We're gonna try and clean up all these little guys first before dealing with our first little mini boss.
Yeah.
This guy, gonna stun lock him and just download it into his head. That was very, very clean. Well done.
Yep. So melee is really, really powerful in this game. In some aspects, almost more powerful than the service weapon. But here we go. We have a control point. This is essentially going to be like a Dark Souls bonfire. It's how we fast travel around, how we're going to upgrade our abilities later on, and it also serves as kind of a checkpoint. So whenever we quit out and return back into the game, we're going to return back to our most recently touched checkpoint. So these are very important.
You did it.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that a lot, or we did that a lot in this run, just quitting the menu to work back to our last checkpoint.
Yep. So we finally met some people that are not corrupted by the evil entity known as the Hiss. They are wearing these weird ass little I guess chest rigs called the HRE machines. That's basically preventing them from turning into the evil Hiss monstrosities. I'm also doing a save quit right here. This game goes by the RTA without loads time. So basically the time is RTA with the loads removed. So because of that, it is usually faster both RTA and LRT to save and quit and then return back into the game to the closest checkpoint. That one's just a small example of it. However, they will get more noticeable later on.
Yeah, one of the quit-outs are actually just work you halfway across the level. This is another example of a really funny spawn limit. Very nice. And coming up, we're gonna see our first shielded enemy, and the shields on these guys, we choose melee zap right off. You can also line up multiple one melee hit. There you go.
Yep.
As Demonic said, melee is very, very powerful. Sometimes more so than your gun. That was a very good fight, actually.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that on those shield enemies, the reason we don't use our guns is it's actually a lore reason. Their shield literally, like, has like a magnetization field on it that basically makes it so bullets kind of just don't really do much damage. So they usually want you to either melee to destroy it or use the launch ability, which is coming up right here. So this is the main gimmick of the game, is that Jessie can bind herself to objects and kind of steal their powers. So because this floppy disk with Soviet nuclear launch codes, oh whoops, sorry, I messed up the dev intended skip here with this ladder. There we go. Because this floppy disk with Soviet nuclear launch codes is like an object of power, we can bind to it, and now we can launch things with our minds. You're also going to notice that pretty much with every single power that we get in this game, almost immediately after getting it, we're able to break the game in some way. So keep that in mind for later on, but this is no exception for the first one. But first we have to do a tutorial. This is something you have to do with every single object that you bind. Basically kind of just giving you a little like, hey, here's how to use this power, here's where it's useful, all that jazz.
Nice.
Yep. It's worth noting that like launch is very finicky. So it definitely takes some getting used to, knowing like what objects you're holding on to, and a bunch of other like little nuances about it. But here we go. This is the first skip of the game. Yeah. Here's the first like real skip of the game. We're gonna grab these two boxes. Oh. So whenever Jessie is stuck inside of an object, the game tries to push it up. So, oh, whoops. Try that again. Kind of weird angle. So it tries to push Jessie up whenever she's stuck in an object. So we essentially get ourselves stuck in an object. I'm gonna move this box really quick because this one's being a little annoying.
This trick is very, very tricky.
Yeah, and usually you're trying to get it past. There we go.
Very nice. Yeah, so that clips you up to the floor, and we're able to just run to the end of the level, skipping the first boss, which is why we call this skip No Mossy.
Yeah, because the boss's name is Tomasi. Like normally, when you're doing your playthrough, you only have 2 required boss fights. That skips one of them. So it's a pretty nice one. But here we go. This is the first like lore only item that we really get. This is the hotline. What it does is it allows us to communicate with the board, who is like the super powerful entity that kind of watches over the organization and is kind of part of the building that we're in, called the oldest house. And it also allows us to communicate with the dead. So for example, we're seeing like images of Trench, who was the director before us, and also, fun fact, is the voice actor for Alan Wake. But we are able to communicate with him via the bullet that's in his head from the service weapon.
It's Max Payne. Alan Wake is Darling.
Oh right, yeah, did I say Alan Wake? My bad. Yeah, so the voice actor for Max Payne.
Yeah, Remedy kind of went for an all-stars cast when they were making this game, so every major character in this had played a major role in one of their previous games.
Yeah, including Jessie. She was in Quantum Break. Yeah, Darling, you know, Alan Wake. So here we go.
Max Payne, and I have to be honest, I still have yet to complete a Remedy game outside of this one.
So here's a bigger example of quitting to the menu to be faster. This one is like significantly faster, even if you include loads. But we'll be doing this very often in order to save time and skip a lot of, even a lot of fights, honestly.
And one useful thing about control points is that you can fast travel between them, so we use that to go all the way back to Central Exec, which we're going to be coming back to talk to Emily a lot. But Emily, we're gonna tell Emily that we got the hotline. We can talk to dead people now, and she's gonna send us to the maintenance sector to, check out the lockdown or see what's going on there.
Yeah, so basically there is two types of lockdowns, an internal lockdown and an external lockdown. The internal lockdown will not allow us to go between different sectors, which is kind of like the levels of this game. So because of that, we need to lift the override, and only the director can do it because it requires a service weapon. And only the director is able to wield the service weapon. So we got to go deal with that to get to the other sectors. We're also going to get help from Ati, who is a Finnish janitor. We're not going to see Ati at all. We saw him at the very beginning for about 5 seconds, and we're not going to be seeing him. We're just going to be hearing him. But we can do a lot of cool skips in this game, and it's going to be one of them. This is where the run will start to get more broken, by the way.
I got a question in chat. What is the heaviest reset point in this game?
We'll see later on, but it's aptly named thresholds, because it is a threshold for whether or not your run will continue.
So funny thing is, this control point here is actually kind of glitched if you run here from the start of the level, from what we understand. So it usually is faster to just clip out of bounds and just skip right past it usually.
Yeah, this is even a glitch that happens on...
Why? How are you not getting this?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. This is even a glitch that actually happens on the current patch version of it, which is kind of annoying. It is really annoying for the inbound runners who aren't allowed to use glitches to go out of bounds. So...
Yeah, I found some weird manip for that once upon a time, but...
Yeah. I do want to mention that I'm not playing on current patch. I am playing on patch 096. This is the earliest publicly released patch of the game. It's even before it hit mainstream audience. It was actually the patch that most of the game journalists and game reviewers played on. So there are some small differences between 096 and 1.0, which is why we play on it. But this is basically the earliest patch. It has no DLC, and it also has no glitches patched out whatsoever.
I thought you were going to say no glitches and leave it at that. I'm like, oh.
No. There's a few glitches. Like this one coming up right here.
So, funny thing, you might notice that we're kind of going out of our way for what's supposedly an optional side quest, but this is actually our second most important movement ability in the game, I think. There's no
it used to be our most important.
Yeah, there's no way that you're playing this game without this ability, and that is our dash. We're actually going to go around and do a skip in this tutorial. The collision on these walls kind of sticks out to the left, and whenever you're stuck in a wall in this game, as mentioned earlier, you are kind of just pushed upwards. So we use that to just go right up and all the way over to the end here. And very nice, as well executed.
Yeah, so this also enables us to really move around in the out of bounds, which is going to be important later on.
Yeah, I don't think there's many skips that we can even do without it at this point.
Yeah, not until we get another power later on. But yeah, so we do actually go out of our way quite a bit to grab some of these extra powers because they're pushed as side options, or side missions. Because they're not technically required for completion. However, for us, they are, because they are way faster. Even though they take, a couple minutes to get.
So back to the mission. This is kind of a recent skip found, but so we're supposed to be going around and figuring out what's up to with the lockdown, but apparently you can just hit that trigger that he hit just now from out of bounds, and then you can go right to the end of the game, or end of the mission, to the control room here. You can clear out all these guys.
Yeah, normally the game wants you to get some energy converters fixed and do a bunch of other stuff. We're not doing that.
Yeah, it wants you to run all sorts of errands. A lot of the skips just skip errands in general.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
And it's because Ati's the one that gives it to us, and we're the janitor's assistant, we call this lazy assistant, because we're just like, no, we don't feel like fixing any of that stuff. We're just going to go to the end. Grab that here, and that is the mission done. That saves what? We thought it was 10 minutes for a while, but it's definitely at least 5 minutes.
It's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's comparing against an optimized execution of it and of the whole thing inbound.
You made it.
And you lifted the
So that actually makes that like one of the biggest skips in the entire game. And it works out because we need to get evade anyway, so.
So anyway, we're just gonna go back and tell Emily that we fixed all the problems. Lifted the lockdown, we're good to go. And she's gonna send us off to research on our merry way.
Yep. So this game kind of makes it like, oh, you're finding your brother is so important, and then for the first half of the game, you're just like, all right, let me do all this stuff except find my brother.
So we're coming into the third mission, which is Old Boys Club, and this is definitely the most combat-heavy level in the run. But it starts out with probably like the biggest, one of the biggest out-of-bounds sections. This was actually found by Flatty Wostock. This is one of our oldest skips at this point. And it starts with flipping out with these, server cabinet things. Okay, that was funny. Come over here, hit this trigger here.
Yeah, that's a very important thing, is hitting triggers to prevent soft locks, because there are a lot of triggers in this game, and some of them can be very annoying to hit.
Yeah, that's definitely the most time-consuming part when finding skips for this. Just figuring out where the triggers are.
Yeah, because we'd have a lot more skips if we could skip it.
Yeah, okay. It's very easy to get stuck in the wall there, but he did a nice job right there. And we dash around this room. And this is actually like two skips wrapped up into one.
Yeah, this used to be just 2-fight skip, and then it became 2-fight and screamy skip, and now we just call it a research skip, because they're like literally back-to-back skips, so they're basically one now.
And then we go right into this fight here. And so you actually notice that his sword, it's actually very important to take out first, because those actually heal all the enemies in the area as long as it's up. So we usually go for those first. Oh wow, very nice fight. And we're kind of trying to hunt for all 6 enemies here, because as I mentioned before, these guys like to run all over the place and lose a whole bunch of time. Another thing right now is at this point we're looking for level 2 mods to drop, because they start dropping at this level. Most importantly, we're looking for dodge for level 2. It's not a real run killer if you don't get it, but it's nice to have. Nice. And so as far as optimizing combat in this goes, you're gonna basically see that Demonic is trying to make the most out of each launch. So he's trying to both hit them with the objects as he's pointing towards them, and one more enemy.
There we go.
Very nice. Yeah, so he's trying to get hits with objects as he's pulling them towards himself, and also hit multiple enemies with each throw. Oh, nice! You did get a dodge efficiency.
Yeah, so if you guys just saw right there, dodge efficiency is usually the one that we want to get, and I got a negative 12 one, so what that means is I actually have an extra dash now, which is really good. There we go, we got some more fights. These are the newer enemies. Basically, they will get close to us, and when they die, they will explode, which is really bad.
A lot of screaming in this game. I didn't even see you kill all the other guys. That was really fast.
All the Bureau secrets.
Yeah, also this elevator goes sideways, because why not? This entire game is about like weird geometry and how this like building is like bigger on the outside than it is the inside. So very common theme in this area.
Someone pointed out to me that means it's not really an elevator if it's moving sideways, but what else do you call it? You know?
I mean, you're still going upward, so it's still elevating you technically.
I suppose.
Yeah. Alright, so here's like the most combat focused fight in the game.
Yeah, so basically for this fight, we kind of want to manipulate everything by keeping all these enemies in front of us. So like basically trying to clear out everything and keep everything in front of us, so the second wave spawns up next to our CP up here.
Yep,
we also have some friendly enemies, or sorry, friendly units here that we want to keep alive. They don't really save that much time, but they kind of keep the heat off of you. And this third wave coming up, did you kill them die?
Yep. Otherwise, all the people. Yeah, I think they exploded. No, there's one life.
Okay.
I just heard him.
So right here with this guy, this is actually one of the reasons we've run on the earliest patch. This guy's shield will go down in one launch hit, whereas normally it would take 2 on current patch, which is a very weird detail.
Even on patch like 1.0 it happens, which is really bad.
Next. So now it's just cleaning up the ads here.
And last one is over there. That's like usually why we like want to have good manipulations for spawns, because otherwise enemies will end up like stuck super far away where we can't hit them. And they're not very good at making their way towards you. Moving side to side and away from you, very good at that. Getting towards you and fighting you in front of you, only when is really inconvenient.
That was a very good OBC.
Yep, but now that we got that going, we do have a little puzzle here, so now's a good time for donations.
Okay.
We have got one donation, and it's quite remarkable because I don't think I've ever had a donation this early on in InstaSpeedathon before. So our first and only current donation is from Infrabread. Comment is, haha, games go zoom. And that also goes towards the weapon hand poll for the Quake 2 run, which is the left hand, and for the perfect run in Super Mario Galaxy 2 target as well. Thank you very much for that donation, Infrabread. And for anyone else who does want to donate, the link is being posted periodically in the chat. !donate will also show up the link. Damon will probably do some kind of segue as well to the donation link at some point. So yeah, do go and donate, and also that shows that all of my tech works as well, which is even better. So yeah, go and donate, guys, because it all goes to a really good cause. EveryoneCan really are a great charity.
Awesome. So right now we're doing a little puzzle here. We're basically trying to get a HRA machine working. These are making the chest rigs that everybody is wearing in order to not turn into the hiss. So that is very important because there are people who are in safe rooms who do not have them, and they can't leave the safe rooms until they get them. So Jesse has been tasked with fixing the machine by getting a piece of rock from the Black Rock Quarry. This is also going to be the big mission where if you've watched runs of this in the past, like I would say like 6 months ago, you were watching them, you probably have not really seen this used very much yet. And if you've seen only like Brian Otto's GDQ run or one of the ESA runs, then this is something that's going to be brand new and where the route really begins to change. Normally we would have to go just start doing the quest immediately. However, we are going to be doing one of the side missions to gain a new power.
Yeah, this game's route has kind of evolved like 3 or 4 times since Brian Otto's run.
Is he here?
So we're actually going out of our way here for another ability.
They'll help save everyone,
and this is actually very tricky.
Dylan.
Getting here. This is actually called Field Training Skip. So we're going to do a mission called Field Training, and okay, that that was scary.
It was fine. I do that every time. It's great.
It's very thin. Getting that to load in consistently is kind of tricky sometimes. So this is actually going to give us our shield ability, and you might be confused why we're getting shield, but you're going to see that in a sec. For now, this is just going to be just optimized movement, just getting this as fast as possible.
Yep. We also just skipped an entire like training course thing that it wants us to run by going out of bounds, and we hit the trigger to unlock the door, which is really nice.
I'll imagine if we didn't have that.
Yeah, this would be much more annoying because it would still save time.
Marginally, I'm sure.
You want might be too low?
One thing about the movement in this game with dashes is there's absolutely no input buffer when it comes to dashing, so you have to have the right cadence with your dash presses. Otherwise, it'll just drop your inputs. It's very annoying.
Yeah, it happens a lot, and you can lose a lot of height from it, and that can be a real problem.
Right, so now that we finished the mission, we quit out, and that now gives us access to what are the most powerful movement tech in the game with Shield. So how this works is we basically activate Shield and fast travel to somewhere else within the same sector. So we can do it at the elevator here because there's 2 floors that are in the same map.
Can I say this?
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
We'll try that again.
So this is called Shielding McSorry, and this is both the fastest move in tech, but also the most difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, factually, it is the most difficult.
HRA
The nuances and the reason why it works, we still have yet to understand. The game likes to push you up and to the side really, really fast.
like you did.
So much so that it can just kill you outright for no reason.
And like right there, like I was going forward. If you don't know, you can't see my keybinds or like what I'm hitting. I was holding A and S, and I was like looking up and down at like a certain rhythm to like change how it goes. But pretty much Shieldy is about like memorizing how to do it and then kind of knowing the weird little nuances of it. But it's very complicated, and even though it looks like I'm just magically no clipping, there's a lot more work that goes into it than just that.
Yeah, it's not it's like a no clip that you can only kind of control. It's like no clip, but you're at the mercy of the forces of nature.
Yeah, I guess like an equivalent would be like if you guys watch Half-Life 2, it would be like ABHing without air control.
Or gravity.
But yeah, so this is going to be, that was like a first little shieldy. This one is going to be much more of a noticeable, like, oh, that's what that does.
Yeah, so we're literally doing this level, like, we're going right to the end and then going back and doing everything out of order, pretty much. So we're actually coming over here to drop down to the end of the level, almost, so we can get another control point in this map, which we're going to use to shieldy to the control room and hit a handful of other triggers that we need to progress. Because as I mentioned before, most of the skips are just going out of bounds and hitting the triggers needed to progress to the next objective. I'm going to grab Energy 3 because a bigger pool helps.
Yeah, this game kind of has a level up system. So we kind of are under level technically. Oh, please respawn. I did. Okay, good. We're like under leveled, so we make up for that by like stacking our points and launch. And that will like kind of help us out with combat later on. I went too far, I think. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh well. We'll try that again.
Yeah, so we're kind of dropping into that hallway as it's loading in around us, and it's very easy to mess this stuff up because you're literally just jumping into the abyss.
Yeah, it's also different too because that area loads in at different times depending on like your computer's load, the SSD power, or like whatever like hard drive you have the game on. All of that kind of affects it. So everyone has like their own way of like dropping into that room. Yeah, and as you can see, this glitch is very finicky. Like I was not moving and it went automatically, and sometimes it does that and sometimes it waits for you to press jump. Again.
Alright, take 2.
Alright, I can save this, that's
I thought you
fine.
got stuck in the wall.
Usually I like to end up in the hallway, however here's a little backup that we can do.
Yeah, I never got the dropping into the hallway one consistent.
There we go.
Nice. So we're hitting this trigger, and we actually have to do this bit inbounds, because the next trigger is just too close, and there's nowhere else that we can really shieldy to. Like, it's just not optimal to do that.
Yeah, I think someone found a shieldy that would work, but it was incredibly precise and didn't save that much time.
No, it was just way too difficult.
Yeah, that's what I meant by precise. There we go. All right, and we hit the trigger right there when we see Blackrock Lab come up in the top right corner. And now we only need to hit one more trigger before we can actually continue on. Again, this game is very much a trigger hunt for stuff, but on the bright side, it makes it so we can't just, you know, use our shieldy to fly to the very end and beat the game in 5 minutes. So we're going to return back to this one. Thankfully, this one is a little bit easier to do, but it's kind of a very similar one. We just kind of just drop at the different point. That was actually perfect.
Nice.
So we hit that door. Normally, it wants us to pick up a key card and unlock the door. However, the trigger for it is literally just touching the door. So even though we didn't unlock it, the game goes, all right, you unlocked it. You're good.
Yeah, it's funny because they could have tied it to the door actually opening, but they didn't. They put an actual trigger there.
Yeah. So, kind of fun. It works for our favor. Alright, so this one I actually need to be careful. I need to be inbounds and I need to stay inbounds. Oh, and we got it. Nice.
Nice. It's very easy to die here because you will go into a free fall without the levitate ability, and the game will just kill you.
Yeah, I should mention that there is fall damage, but you can negate it with a evade. But sometimes you don't have enough energy for it, or you know, whatever reason, so it can be kind of hard. And sometimes it'll just like send you crashing to the ground before you can even evade and react to it.
I feel like a fighter pilot hitting the eject button.
Exactly. But there we go.
Grab the Black Rock, quit out, and we're gonna talk to Marshall, say that we did things, and now she's gonna tell us where our brother is.
Yeah, the game's finally like, oh right, Jesse's only motivation. We can go back to this now. But yeah, so this level is actually one of my favorites to do. It's probably the most fun with Shieldy because it has Shieldies that are like very different. Every single Shieldy, you have to like hold the keys in a certain way. So for the most part, most of the time you're going to be holding A and S while using them. But this one has like W, W and A, W and D. So it's very different.
Yeah, as I said, the reasons it works and the ways that it works are not fully understood.
Yeah, I swear it's just like, you know, how you're, you know, what build of the game you're on, what are your powers, all that stuff.
Weather, temperature outside.
Yeah, the lunar cycle of the moon.
All these factors affect it.
I'm also gonna be very careful here. I want to not have that blow up, that forklift. That forklift chassis is, I would say, a really good object to get out of bounds with. Some objects are better than others. Like, it kind of just depends. But the chassis, it makes it really easy to do so.
The best ones are the ones with, like, wonky hitboxes on them.
Yeah. Because it's weird, but, like, the more angled it is, usually that's better. We don't know why. So that's why, like, whenever we get like a box, we want it like to be angled. Here we go. Please hope I don't noob by accident. We did not noob by accident.
There's a tech called a neum, and nice. Basically, a neum is whenever you do a double mantle or invalid mantle, or I don't really know. It tries to put you at the 000 coordinate of the map, and nice. And you get stopped on whatever is along the way. So that just warped us over there. We were able to dash across and drop right into the last room of the Ocean View Motel puzzle.
Yeah, all the Ocean Views motels are loaded in, but they're just like, you know, in the middle of nowhere. Fortunately, it's really easy for us to get to the middle of nowhere because of being able to go out of bounds. So that skips us actually having to run all the way around and then do the puzzle legit, which takes, you know, only about 30, 40 seconds. So that's a pretty big skip.
Very nice.
Also, if you're wondering why we aren't doing Shieldy, is because we do not have two control points. But now that we got this one,
right now.
Yeah. And it's also worth noting that if control points are too close together, Shieldy will not work. And sometimes even if they aren't close together, it still won't work for whatever reason.
So here, this one actually works more consistently than the other ones because the Panopticon here is in a very different place from the logistics control point. So it fully unloads and reloads every single time, and it doesn't do that consistently in other places.
Yeah, which is really good for us.
It's good for us because we can then grab this one and then go back and use this to surf across to the next place.
Yeah, but it's like we tried to do Shieldy from the Panopticon to the upper Panopticon. Ooh, that was way too early. If we tried to do that, it wouldn't work.
So we're kind of setting up for a new skip, or a relatively newish skip. I don't even know if we have a name for this, but this is our second boss fight pretty much. We found a way to skip a pretty lengthy cutscene, and it also just completely lobotomizes this boss's AI for reasons we don't understand. So we start
Yeah.
that cutscene, quit out, and then shieldy back to logistics, and go straight up because the boss fight room is right above us, and the logistics room.
Yeah, this one's actually kind of hard because the game really likes to fight your control on this. Like, watch, when I start doing the shieldy, it's probably going to jerk my camera in a really weird way. Oh, no, it didn't do it.
Yeah, it also lags here.
Oh, no, we're good. Yeah, we also need to land on this platform, so we need to make sure we have enough dashes to do that, which we did, so we are good.
Yeah, when I did this on Xbox, the game just straight up crashed right there.
Yeah, this game crashes a lot, by the way.
Very stable TM. So in this fight, since Salvador is completely harmless, we're literally just going to take care of the ads first, since they are more likely to lose this time than Salvador is. Now that they're out of the way, we're just going to unload, just mag dump after mag dump into this guy.
Yeah, there is actually a category that does all the bosses in the game. I swear the bosses are actually difficult. It's just the ones that are required to beat the game. The first one we can skip entirely. And the second one we have a glitch for, but we used to have to fight him normally.
The boss fights are difficult and cool.
They're just side missions, so they're a separate category.
So yeah, anyway, back to the story. We just had to cleanse a Benikoff TV, and that gives us our levitate ability, which is kind of our trifecta, or completes our trifecta of movement tech in this. So we can fly wherever we want, and the rest of the game is quite literally just flipping out of bounds and going to where we need to go to beat the game.
I know Bryo said that like the game devs almost gave us like the perfect tools to navigate the out of bounds, because we have shieldy, we have evade to dash around quickly, we have levitate to like carry ourselves over long distances. Like it's almost like they made this game with the intention for us to break it. Like we're gonna do again. So we finally are going to meet Dylan after 17 years. We're gonna be going to his containment cell. Unfortunately, he isn't there, but fortunately, he kind of just shows up in the executive center later on his like own volition without like saying anything. He's kind of like, "Hey guys, I'm here now," and it's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess." He's also infected by the hiss, which is really bad, but he's not like completely out of it, which is really good, but he's still like, you know, being really spooky and stuff, so we have to go fix that.
Are you gonna do the new thingy?
Yeah, why not? So this is like a brand new skip called
literally last week.
Called
Face of the Emily.
Yeah, because normally we have to go and talk to Emily, and then she unlocks a door for us. But we really don't like talking to Emily. We do it a lot during this run, and anytime we can do it less is really good. The skip saves like 7 seconds, and it's kind of wonky right now because we don't really have a very good setup for it, because we haven't like, you know, super routed yet. But basically we get this cube here. Basically,
why didn't that work?
There we go. And then, ooh, where am I?
You can slam up.
There we go. And we can just talk to Dylan, and that like makes this work here.
Yeah, and this room just stays like sort of half loaded in. It's very interesting. Very nice.
And for some reason, it doesn't break the game, which is really surprising. All right. So this is actually one of the earliest like out of bounds that we found. We used to have a completely different way of getting here that was significantly harder, and I'm really glad it was routed out because it was extremely difficult and probably still is the hardest like out of bounds section in the game that we no longer have to do, which I'm really happy about. But yep, now we just kind of do this.
You're right out of bounds.
Yep, we come over here, and then now we have a really hard checkpoint to hit, or trigger to hit.
Yeah,
so we'll see how this goes.
The trickiest one.
Thankfully, if you fail it, you don't have to hit it a second time on your second attempt. But we got it. Nice. That is way harder because you can fall to your death there really easily.
Yeah, the physics in this game use like actually it actually simulates where Jesse's feet are, so if you're not holding W or facing the wall correctly, then you will just slip off of that little pixel edge there.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll like try to levitate and gain some height away, but you'll hit like an invisible wall and it will stop Jesse from gaining height, and if that happens, like, you're donezo.
Fortunately, we can slam up with this on this patch version.
Yeah.
So that over that orange light is our second trigger. The third one is coming up here. We're basically just following the level in bounds, but from out of bounds. The third trigger is here above these lights, and then after that we just come right here into the dump. And if everything went to plan, then yep, we have this fight spawn in. And this is all we have to do to finish the level now.
Which is really nice. This is one of the like the few missions that's like lets us do this. Oh, that's not great. Or fine. It's one of the few missions that like really lets us, you know, skip a lot. Oh man.
Actually has combat at the end. This fight is a little bit scary though, because as Demonic mentioned earlier, we kind of are under leveled. This game was balanced around you like exploring the map and getting upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, and this guy not being annoying.
More mods than what we have now. But when we speedrun, we are literally just using whatever we pick up in our path.
Wow, this guy is being really annoying right now. There we go. Ah, come on, bud. Come on, bud. There we go. Yep.
Very nice.
A little bit of a messy fight, but it works.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That is probably one of the longest levels casually, but it's the shortest, one of the shortest in the speedrun, I want to say.
Yeah. Like, that skip is probably only as bigger than, like, the directorial override one. Alright, but now we're going to be going to parapsychology. So, I do a different shieldy than Ashley does here. But, yeah. Now we are heading to speak to Auntie again, but Auntie is on vacation, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of a detour. But basically, we need to get to dimensional research, and we have to go through the ashtray maze, and we don't have the key for the ashtray maze, so because of that, we have to go find that.
Gosh, that was so much easier.
Yep, and all you do is hold S. I don't know why you don't do it.
Probably because the other one's faster.
I don't think the other one's that much faster, but okay.
It's faster if you know where you're going.
But yeah, so normally, like, this is like a changing maze, but if you don't have the key for it, you just get into a loop.
If you played this game casually, you will remember the ashtray maze. If you haven't played this game casually, then the ashtray maze is your reason to do so, because this game is super sick.
Yeah, and the good thing is the speedrun won't spoil it for you, because of course we have a skip for it.
And if you think the game looks jank just because of the speedrun, it really isn't that jank when you're playing casually. Very nice.
Yeah. Don't worry while we are floating out in the middle of nowhere. I swear it's totally normal. Alright.
Unfortunately, this is like one of our biggest sections of downtime. So we hit that trigger.
4237, 4337, 4407. Okay, I got my
we
time.
hit that button, and he has to take note of the time because there's a trigger that doesn't spawn or become active until 90 seconds after we hit that button. So we can literally just hit that button and cross right away. And as long as we know when to go back out and hit that trigger, then we can go to the end. So the downside is we have 90 seconds to kill, like, before we just sit there and do absolutely nothing. So if you have time for donations and stuff.
Well, we don't have any new donations, but we have been posting the link quite a few times. Well, at least Damien has been sending the link quite a few times. No one else has been spamming the link because nobody else does. No, we haven't had any new donations in, but if anyone who does want to go and donate, !donate in the chat, we'll bring you guys up the link, or Damien will just post the link in the chat with some kind of segue. And of course, all the donations go direct to EveryoneCan as well. Currently speaking, we have one target which has £10 on it, which is the perfect run. That only needs £40 left, so you can see it. But for the two that we have that are happening today, I think it's the Show Hitboxes Bleed 2 run and the 80% Showcase. Those are happening today. We need £50 each in those ones to see them, and they happen today. So those ones are probably the priority if anybody wants to see them. As for the polls, the weapon hand has £10 on left hand. That is currently the winning option. The other two options have £0. So if anyone wants to change the course of that, then be sure to donate to that one as well. And you can change the course of the entire run by just changing what hand the weapon is in the Quake 2 run. So the only donation we have, of course, is Infrabread's £10 run, but any new donations in, then I will announce them periodically as you guys want me to, or once you guys finish.
Alright, so we have got our key for the Ashtray Maze, and by key, I mean the thing that we're not going to use to beat the Ashtray Maze. We're just going to skip it entirely, because again, you know, we're speedrunners. So this one was actually found very early on. Like, it wasn't one of the first glitches, but it was like found surprisingly quick, albeit we did it in a very different way.
I believe that they found one of the earliest skips was a skip inside of the Ashtray Maze, and then right after there was a skip for the entire Ashtray Maze, which is kind of funny. Are you doing the phase 1 skip too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, this is also very tricky because whenever you're doing these glides around these fire break walls, the game acts very weirdly with them. Like if you're inside of the wall, it just straight up
Okay,
kills
we're
you
good.
sometimes. Nice.
Yeah, I had to use the map to navigate. That's why I had it open, because otherwise that is pitch black. But that was really nice.
Did you just walk through the wall?
Yep, that's something that just happened, so that makes me really nervous.
Hashtag never seen that before.
Yep, never happened before. It actually saved me time too. Okay.
Alright.
Well, let's hope nothing's broken. But we're gonna be doing some shieldies here. I'll let Bucky. You can explain all of this that we're doing.
Yeah. So as we've been talking about this shieldy stuff in this game, going through all these reroutes, a lot of this was done by a couple of runners called Mr. Letts and Merwin. And this is definitely the biggest thing that they found is this skip here. So this is basically like our boss fight. We have 6 siphons in the other room that we're gonna have to cleanse, and lots of enemies, very easy to die, etc., etc. So, but we can skip that with Shieldy by going out of bounds and yanking up all these bolts. Once we do that, the game sort of starts us into a cutscene state. We're not really in the cutscene though; we just don't have a HUD. So from there, after we pulled out the bolts, we come over here and interact with these, and this warps us back inbounds like that, which is pretty nifty. And then we go over here, hit the trigger, and we have to let this cutscene play out.
Yeah, not even the full cutscene. It'll just like stop it automatically, but this is about like half of the cutscene.
It's very, very weird how this works, yeah.
It's also really easy to accidentally skip this and kill your run.
Oh yeah.
So that's like why you saw me like jerk back and like pull my hand off the keyboard. It's like to make sure that I definitely don't like, you know, let my thumb slip or anything like that.
Yeah, I have to take my hands off the keyboard too. But yeah, so after we do that and quit out, the first 3 siphons are done pretty much. The only downside is we have to then get to siphon 4 from out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's very...
But there's also a good side to it.
Yeah, this one used to be very random. Demonic recently found a manip for it that makes the enemies behave very consistently.
Yeah, for reference, I would say like probably 40% of your runs that got here died. And you just had no... Where am I? Oh, I didn't get out of bounds. Hold on. I can save this. Can I save this? Let's see. Come on. As you can see, this is a very fun glitch that works every time perfectly. Let's see. Come on. Alright, I'm just going to retry it again. Sometimes Jency doesn't want to go through walls. Instead, sometimes she wants to go through walls when you don't want her to go through walls. It's great.
Yeah, sometimes the walls just actually are walls. Weird how that works. And this room above, or just this area in general, is just very hard to clip out of bounds. This is why we needed shield to make this skip work.
It's also like a weird way that I'm doing it is like I'm like looking one way, getting out of bounds, and then curving back into it while gaining height. So yeah, we're getting a lot of height over here, right about to these satellites. We can drop
right down.
Alright, and then I need to get over to this side, the siphon, like just right of it, drop down. Oh, that's not great, but that should be fine. Yeah, so these two enemies spawn in, but they don't aggro to Jesse, which is really good. And none of the other like 6 enemies usually spawn in, or they spawn in late and they don't bug you. One of those things. Man, I really hope I don't get hit by a stray bullet here. We should be fine here because we'll get health from that. Alright, we're good now. It should be worth noting that the only time you can die is when your health is down so low that your screen edges turn red. Otherwise, you cannot be one shot. If an enemy's going to do like 150% of your health, it only does 99.
It's actually a very nice mechanic that you wouldn't have known about if you didn't, if you weren't told. This cycle is usually pretty free, but something's gonna go wrong here. It couldn't be you though.
Nope,
First
we
try,
are good.
Very well done.
Alright, and we're not doing the fake out ending. Because I forgot to tell Tech. But this game has a fake ending, so it's gonna like play credits here, and we're gonna be like, usually in runs we would be like, alright guys, that was the run, you can stop time, wow, that was a really good time, that was super good. And then it's like
24, I think that's a RTA world record.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh wait, hold on, I don't think Frederick Langston's voice actor was named Leave, or the game director, or the narrative lead. I don't think that's really, you know, their names there. It must have been a typo though. I'm sure it's not going to get any more weird. Oh, no, it's looking a little off right there. Yeah, that's not normal. But yeah, fun fact, because the timer is paused here, we have to watch the entire thing, because we could skip this RTA-wise by just quitting out and then teleporting back to an area in the central, or in the executive sector, but then it would cost us like 3 seconds. So we're losing like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in RTA time to save 3 seconds, which sounds crazy when you explain it out loud. I never really thought about it, but like, isn't that just like the most like speedrunner thing in the world? Like wasting 2 minutes IRL to save time in game for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Never thought of that either.
What the hell's on the screen? I'm only just looking at it on the stream, and holy moly.
Your computer, bro.
Normally we pretend like there's an issue with tech and we like try to freak them out, but we like to give at least some fair warning to it.
There was one runner named Nico who actually did that without telling tech before, and they actually like were trying to switch to the next run.
Yeah.
But nope, spoiler alert, we're in Jesse's Nightmare, which is just working a 9-to-5 internship at the FBC.
Yeah, truly terrible. I can't blame her. Yeah, basically she's been infected by the hiss because she lost the special protection she had from being the main character TM. But because she's also the main character TM, she'll get it back. It's like the scene from Spider-Man 2 where he loses his powers and then he gets it back eventually to, you know, save the day. Literally the exact same story arc right here.
Yeah, I'll remember that. The last three minutes of the run is just that of Spider-Man 2.
Yep, exactly. You can't see the resemblance with Tobey Maguire, Jesse, and Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure Emily says with great power comes great responsibility at some point, or has some at some point in her life.
Someone says that, surely.
Yeah. Also, we're gonna try and do what's called a fake noom. So we mentioned real nooms earlier, and we did one where if you mantle onto an invalid spot, it sends you to the 0-0 coordinates of the loaded cell. This one is a little bit different. This is a fake noom. So it kind of works the same. It's when we mantle into a cutscene that's teleporting us to a different spot. It tries to bring us like in between. So we should end up right on top of here instead of over there. This saves literally no time. It's just purely a swag strat.
it's kind of sad that we have so much tech that like we can't find a use for.
Yeah, there's a lot more glitches that have been routed out or changed that there's not useful anymore. Like control point slams were really cool for a while, and then we routed in shieldy. So that's a very common thing. Is there's like, if you're ever curious, feel free to join the Discord and ask about some of the stuff, or check out some of the other categories. But there's like a lot of like category exclusive stuff, or things that like you need New Game Plus for, or you know, stuff that was like used for the longest time for like literally 2.5 years that's no longer in the game. But yeah, there's a lot of history with this run.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
We hit that, do a little slide, and we're back in the Ocean View Motel, but thankfully we don't have to do a puzzle here. We just have to hit that, automatically completes it, and now we are able to escape the Hiss Nightmare. Jesse no longer has to work a boring office job. Yeah, this area is kind of like the final, like, you know, battle against the evil Hiss. Yeah. If you've noticed, enemies have had levels by their health bars. Like they've usually been level 4 or 5. These enemies are going to be like level 30. But the good thing is, because the board kind of overpowers us.
The other good thing is that none of this matters because we just dash straight to the end of the game anyway.
Yeah. This is kind of the cool part about this. It's supposed to be like this badass, like, alright, you're finally taking down the Hiss. They can't stop you. You're too good. You one-shot like every enemy. And then Jesse is like, that's cool. I'm just gonna fly away.
See ya. I gotta go.
Look down a specific spot, and we're basically just flying to the next couple of arenas, and those spawn in automatically because we hit the triggers for them. And then we can skip that by going through holes in the wall. Yeah, no, time is actually going to be coming up here in about a minute here, so we want to get ready on that. We fall in here, we mash jump, we should stay above. Ah, we didn't, that's fine.
Okay, I thought you worked through the ground.
Well, I did, but, you know, it didn't kill my run.
Yeah, it just didn't kill you.
Come over here. There is another one that's faster, but I don't know it yet, and I am never, ever, ever doing, like, strats I haven't practiced, like, in the middle of a run. That's a terrible idea, but we hit that, we come over here, and now we just gotta touch Dylan. Just want to give a special thanks to InstaSpeedathon for having me, and for, you know, letting me be, like, the opening run. It's really cool to be able to do that here and show off this amazing game. And time is going to be coming up now. We cleansed all the Hiss, we saved the day, and we become the super cool director. Best ending ever, and surprisingly happy for a Remedy game.
GG. Very, very good run.
Yep. But thank you everybody for watching. If you'd like to follow more of me, I do a lot of interesting games. I do this game mostly. I also do the new Ghostwire Tokyo game, so if you want to see the speedrun for that, I'm doing that as well. You can find me at twitch.tv/DemonicRobots.
The portal's been
and then Ashley, if you want to plug yourself as well.
Yeah, if you want to follow me, because I'm going to start streaming this game again soon, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Ashley93OBTW. It's a mouthful, I'm sure. And I see Demonic just laughing already.
Yeah, that's fine.
But thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for taking part. We haven't had any new donations since the last one, so anybody who does want to donate, please do so. If you type !donate in the chat, it'll bring up the Tiltify link for you guys to go and donate. I will be posting it periodically in the chat as well. Now, we do have 2 incentives today as well. The show hitboxes for Bleed 2 Endless Normal by Fire Splitter. That one doesn't have any donations in yet, but we do need £50 if you want to see that. And any percent showcase for the Anti-Tamer 100% run as well, which also needs £50. Currently it has nothing. So, don't forget as well that every donation of £5 or more will enter you into the giveaway for the Xbox Game Pass code, and that will be drawn at the end of the marathon, of course. So please get those donations in. Anything above £5 will enter you guys into that giveaway. So thank you, Demonic Robot, for the run. Thank you to Ashley for the commentary as well. Do you have any final remarks you'd like to say before we end off?
Shawshank percent?
Oh yeah, let me just
Shawshank Redemption. That's the name of the movie I was thinking of earlier.
Are you guys doing something, sorry?
Yeah, It's something in game. But yeah, that just validated the run. You know, you have to go out there and have her say Shawshank Redemption, otherwise it's gonna get rejected.
All submitted runs have to have that.
Yeah. But no, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. Forgot to mention your time was 56 minutes and 18 seconds.
Yeah, I saw. I'm very happy with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, thank you guys for running, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Have a good one.